Good. Great. Okay, it's my privilege to welcome you to Jamie's presentation. I had the privilege of having Jamie in apologetics, and then again in senior Bible this year, and she's a strong, confident, influential person who's going to go very far in life, and we're excited to hear your journey and where you're going. So if I may, I'll pray for you, and then we'll cut you loose, Jamie. Lord, thank you for this beautiful day that we can just reflect on the beauty of your creation, and we're so excited to celebrate Jamie's life and hear about her journey and where she's going. And thank you for the way you uniquely gifted her and made her. And so thank you that we can be a part of this blessed time. I pray for her and her family, that this would be honoring to you. Give her the words to speak and calm her nerves. We thank you in advance for what you're going to do in her life. In Christ's name, amen. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie.
Okay, hi, I'd just like to start off by thanking every single person for coming. Your presence really, really means a lot to me. I'd like to introduce my special guests. I have my mom, my nonna, my little sister Grace, and my dad. There they are. All right, so I'm just going to jump in. This journey began on a hot and humid summer afternoon of June 28th, 1999. I was born with lips so bold and red that the first thing the nurse said when handing me to my mother is that I'd put on red lipstick for the occasion. As you are probably all sick and tired of hearing, this did not happen at your local American hospital, but a small outdated one in the northern Italian town of Reggio Emilia, where I spent the first 5 years of my life. Although I don't remember everything in those rudimentary years, I remember feeding pigeons with my dad every Sunday in the piazza, going to IKEA on the weekends, and spending my summers playing on the beach on an island in the middle of the Mediterranean called Sardinia. And this is a place I've always kind of considered my own private island because no one I know that lives in America has ever heard of it. And so I have the opportunity to kind of hype it up with my friends and tell them I'm going to this secluded island, like in the middle of the Mediterranean, but it's only an hour away from Rome. They're a huge and memorable part of my childhood was spent finding ancient Roman coins and artifacts that are real, by the way, with my Uncle Lulu on the shore after it rains. His house that we share with him in the summer is right by this ancient archaeological site. That was a really cool town back in the day. We are convinced that it was the lost city of Atlantis, and I have a lot of information and proof that it was, and I would be more than happy to share it with you. I have amazing theories, and also feel free to look up the Discovery Channel documentary, The Lost City of Atlantis, where they actually go to that archaeological site where I grew up. So like that doesn't tell you what is, yeah. But to be clear, my uncle thought of this theory before the Discovery Channel did. So credit to us, well, him. Also, some of my earliest memories were spent wandering the aisles of his mechanic shop. It seemed like the biggest and coolest place ever, but in retrospect was about the average size or the size of your average gas station, but like still really cool. When I was 5 years old, my mother, father, baby sister, and I moved to Denver, Colorado to start a new chapter in our lives. We moved to the desolate town of Roxborough, just outside of Ken Carl, a very spacious and beautiful place that I never fully appreciated until we moved away. But it was the complete opposite to what I was used to. As your typical Italian girl, I was very overwhelmed and scared with the amount of space we had gotten. Like I'd never had like a backyard and an actual house to live in, and we have to drive everywhere because everything's so far away, which kind of freaked me out. So needless to say, I didn't sleep in my own bed full time till I was 10 because I was scared to. So sorry for all the times we switched beds, Dad. I was enrolled in kindergarten like any normal kid. However, I would refuse to speak English unless it was with my mother. My teacher told my mom that if I would never graduate kindergarten unless I actually applied myself. The funny thing is, I was completely fluent in English. I just didn't want to speak it unless it was with my mom, and I think I was just angry that I even had to in the first place, especially since my teacher was this really weird old lady that would like drive her motorcycle around my neighborhood with her husband. I don't remember the exact moment that I actually started to apply myself in English. I just can tell you right now that if it wasn't forced, I probably wouldn't speak English to this day. I'm not petty. But I grew up in like any American child would through elementary school, but I had the gift of going back home and visiting my friends and family every year, and this gave me a lot of comfort and joy because I got to live the best of both worlds. However, around 2008, the economic depression came around, and it thwarted my family and I to have the opportunities we used to travel back home as often as we used to. And it was kind of like that for a while because my family's business had to be put under, and that was kind of a really hard time, but we eventually recovered. Life moved on quickly to middle school, and luckily that was kind of a blur to me, except for the fact that I had moved into 2 different houses in 2 different schools within a couple of months, so I'll never really forget that. But 2 houses, 2 schools, an extreme One Direction obsession, and a few Juicy Couture tracksuits later, I was in high school. I can't really tell you why I chose Valor to be my school. In fact, I don't ever think there was a time where I decided, I just kind of knew. But one of my biggest weaknesses and strengths that I know I have is that I daydream a lot. And so it comes in really handy when I'm in the car and like have to entertain myself somehow, but not when I'm trying to fall asleep or I'm in class and have the test the next day and like really need to pay attention. But I clearly remember the summer before coming into high school that I would lay on my bed for hours and I just plan out my high school career. And I was going to date the hottest boy in school. I would have the cutest clothes. I'd get really good grades and be that really social popular girl that everyone liked. However, coming into high school with only one friend, a fear to talk to boys, and half a closet consisting of clothes from Abercrombie and Fitch, reality hit kind of hard. So other than my overwhelming desire to fit in, I don't remember much from my freshman year. Sophomore year was the same kind of blur. It was in this time that I was really hard on myself because I wasn't who I wanted to be at the time. I wasn't the all-star athlete that you run into every corner at the school. I played volleyball from my 6th grade year to my freshman year and quit after that because it became super competitive. And I knew I wasn't that passionate about the sport anymore because literally the only thing I looked forward to was the Chick-fil-A catering that the parents would bring after the games. And I dreaded everything else. So that's kind of when I knew. Also, my theater career ended in 2nd grade with my peak performance of being the lead in Princess and the Frog. I couldn't sing or play an instrument, and so I looked at myself as a failure because I wasn't succeeding at all the things all of my peers were. And it wasn't until I took a trip back home at the end of my first semester junior year that I truly changed the way I looked at myself in my life. My family and I went back for a family emergency when our beloved Uncle Lulu was very sick and wasn't doing so well. It was so hard because my uncle is someone in my life that I cherish deeply and have looked up to since I was a baby. For as long as I can remember, he had always been in my life as someone who brings so much joy and wisdom, and the thought of losing him was one of the most painful thoughts I'd ever had. And so one day on that trip, I was talking with him after a long day of picking olives, just Italian things. We were having a conversation, and he knew I was doubtful about my success just because my confidence was so low. And he told me that I could have anything I wanted in life if I wanted it with all my heart, and I worked with it with all my strength and believed I could do it. And as cliche as that sounds, I've never really believed anything more. It truly breathed life back into me. At the time when we only thought he had a couple weeks to live, so in that conversation that almost felt like a goodbye, I knew I wanted to make my uncle proud and almost live my life for him since his was coming to a slow stop. But that trip helped me realize how blessed I am to live the life I live and be surrounded by the family and friends that I have. And going to this amazing school, I found my peace and my self-worth again. And I credit that to being back home and doing the things I love with the people I love most. When we got back home, despite the fact I was dreading being back in the States and missing our flight back to Rome and having to take finals, I had a skip in my step. I decided to take life by the reins and focus on myself instead of the people around me. And so during this time, I discovered my love for anatomy and medicine, so much so that I decided to volunteer at Swedish Hospital for over a year. I'll never forget the panic that I had wheeling a lady in labor to the ER, handling every phone call with a person on the other line that had some sort of accent because I was the only person that had an ear for it and could understand. That being said, I became fluent in my 3rd language, Spanish, so much so that my life mainly consists of Spanish pop hits and my friends getting annoyed with me because I'll flip through 3 different languages without warning. It'll even kind of scare me at times because subconsciously I'll find myself thinking in Spanish or Italian, just like randomly. And sure, I had the advantage of speaking Italian before I learned Spanish, but as much as it helped me, it messed me up just as much. It was always funny watching my teachers and peers face in class when no one would have any idea what I was saying because I was speaking straight Italian. And so, but I got it figured out. I took my AP test, it was good. But I also found my creative outlet through photography and fashion. The perks of being European and going back there is that I'm really familiar with all the high fashion brands, and I'm all about Fashion Week. So my idea of a perfect day would be strolling around in Paris with like a baguette hanging out of my Givenchy bag, and I'm just strolling around in my Yves Saint Laurent boots on the cobblestone, speaking perfect French with my French friends, because who doesn't love that? So hopefully I'll get to that level, especially since I decided that French is going to be the next language I take on, and I also get to learn France and its culture. Lastly, I found myself a group of friends that build me up and genuinely care about me as much as I care about them, and it's been a huge blessing to me. So through these 3 years of insecurity, uncertainty, and unhappiness, I finally found who I am, and because of that, I found out who I want to be. Senior year has definitely been the best year of high school for me. And it's been a really amazing period of growth and reflection. It has motivated me just to be like how my uncle is to me, someone that shines a light through the darkness of others and emulates the benefits of gratitude, confidence, and the acknowledgement of how much God loves us. I'm going to be continuing my education at Arizona State University with a major in global health and medicine with a minor in Spanish. There, I aspire to flourish in a place not too far from home, but far enough where I get to experience true independence in a place with weather that I don't have to wear fuzzy socks 5 months out of the year to bed because of my Raynaud's, which isn't some weird disease. My extremities just get really cold because of lack of blood flow because it's so cold outside. So I don't have to worry about that anymore, which is nice. Through ASU, I'm planning and studying abroad in Europe, specifically in Spain and hopefully either France or Italy. After college, I'm not 100% sure where the road will take me, but I'm sure it's back to Europe, as always, and hopefully everywhere else. I look forward to the things life has in store for me, and I'm excited for all the growth I will continue to be doing. I will look back on this part of my life happily, since this is a time where I had started the journey to truly finding myself and creating amazing memories with the people that I love. So thank you all for coming on this journey with me and coming to my presentation. Now for my thank yous. Obviously, I can't thank every single person in the room, but in general, I really want to thank you for being here. Each and every one of you have really impacted my life in some way, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm going to start off with my friends. Some of them couldn't be there, so I'm going to skip them. Riley, you were my second or third friend that I made in high school. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to read this word for word because I'm going to mess it up. You were my second or third friend that I made in high school in Miss Stone's seminar class, where I think we started making fun of something that Miss Stone had put on the board and bonded over the fact we like clumps of hot chocolate. Clumps of powder in our hot chocolate. And since then, I knew I had found an intellectual with a sense of humor, and I'm so glad I did. You've been someone in my life that can always make me laugh no matter what and get me in ways not a lot of people can. I'm so glad to have you as one of my best friends, and I'm so sad to leave you because you are truly one of a kind, and I'm going to miss subconsciously changing my voice to some kind of ghetto dialect whenever we're together and laughing so hard my stomach hurts because of it. I wouldn't have wanted anyone else to try and pierce my unnumbed ear and faint into anyone else's arms because of the pain. Thank you. I love you. Lexi? I can't necessarily remember the moment we became friends because it feels like we always have been. You're truly such a light in my life, and I'm so grateful to have a friend as selfless, thoughtful, and as genuine as you. You are truly one of the funniest people I've ever met, and will miss being around the amazing energy that you always bring. Riding around in stretch limo stump and doing the millions of weird things we do together, I will cherish forever, and I love you so much. Thank you for being you. Tiffany, I'm so grateful to have a friend like you. Despite the fact we only really became close this year, it feels like I've known you all 4 years of high school. Thank you for being weird with me and being the only person that laughs at my jokes when no one else is listening. I wouldn't want to have a carnival-themed grad party with anyone else. Thank you. I love you. Cassidy, where are you? Hi. Thank you for being my friend all these 4 years. You never fail to bring a smile to my face or be there for me, so thank you. Tony, thank you for being such an amazing friend to me these past couple years. You've been a rock and an amazing confidant, and for that I'm truly grateful. Sorry for almost crashing your Jeep. It's a long story. Quincy, I just wanted to say I'm so grateful that I found you. You literally breathed life into my slowly but surely dying passion for math. I wish we could have become friends earlier because you are a blessing, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. This is for Haley, who has to take a math final right now, but I'm literally convinced we were separated at birth. I can't remember a time where you weren't my friend, and I'm so glad I can't. You have brought me 7 years of true friendship, and I'm so lucky to call you my best friend. I can't even begin to count the amount of memories we've made together, and can't wait for the many more we will make. Thank you for growing up with me. I love you so much, and thank you for always being there for me with literally anything. I love you. And my family, Grace. Despite it's literally a World War III battlefield in our house every day, you're one of the people I'm going to miss most. I've been so blessed to have you as a little sister, and I can't imagine my life without you. You are so strong, and I'm so proud of how much you've grown mentally and physically, but please stop growing physically. It's really embarrassing having to tell people that I'm the older one. I'm so sad I won't get to see your growth with my own eyes every day anymore, but just know I'm always a phone call away, and I'm always willing to send and receive vines. I love you, Papa. Faccio questo in inglese. I just want to thank you for being you. I've never really met anyone as motivated, loving, and as stubborn as you. I admire the way you followed your dreams and became successful, and deeply appreciate the way you encourage and support Grace and I to do the same. I can't thank you enough for all you've done for this family and always making time to help me with my anatomy homework. I will miss your endless banter of stories from your childhood and career that I've heard a million times over. But despite the fact it seems like I'm over them now, I will always miss watching my big fat Greek wedding with you and making your daily 2 o'clock cafe by hand in the macchinetta. Ti voglio bene. Mom, I don't even know where to begin to thank you. You always used to call me your little sunshine, but on the contrary, you're mine. You are without a doubt one of the strongest people that I know. And in every situation life throws at you, you handle it with grace, positivity, and strength, and that is something I look up to immensely. You have consciously and subconsciously taught me to be a strong and independent woman, and for that I'm forever grateful. I know that handling the 3 of us isn't easy at times, but I just want to make sure you know that everything you do does not go unnoticed. You don't give yourself enough credit at times when you should, because you are the literal definition of a superwoman. The things you do to keep this family together are so selfless and brave, and through all the sacrifice, you showed me what true love is. You've given Grace and I the world and then some, and I hope to do the same for you one day. Thank you for everything you've done for us, but most of all, thank you for being my mother. I love you. That's the end of that. But as you know, half my family lives overseas, and they couldn't be here, and so I'm gonna have to thank them because they're still a really big part of my life, but they don't speak English. So I'm just gonna have to do this in Italian really quick. I promise it'll be fast. I give you permission to zone out. Okay. Cominciamo con Maria Milo Chicasela, Alcionero, Nonna Rosi e Nonni Reimers. Voi avete stato con me per tutta la mia vita e anche prima, per questo non sapete l'amore e riconoscenza che sento quando penso di voi. Tutto che avete fatto sempre sarà nel mio cuore e pensieri. Siete persone meravigliosi, forti, e sono estremamente benedetta di chiamarvi amici e famiglia. Vi voglio bene con tutto del mio cuore, grazie. Zio Lulu, non sai così tanto, ti adoro. Ho ammirazione per la tua forza, pazienza e fede. Niente è più importante per me che essere in Sardegna, ascoltando a Creedence Clearwater Revival con tutti quanti insieme sulla spiaggia, cercando per le monete e camminare su Monti Agumu. Grazie di essere una persona nella mia vita che sempre è stata una gioia e un secondo papà. Ti vorrò sempre bene. Un bacio grande a Sammy, alle Auri e Alessia. Vi voglio bene e ci vediamo presto. Done. Thank you.
Did you need me to translate?
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard CCR.
Yeah.
Very important. We have a little time for probably 2 or 3 questions for Jamie or encouragement.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. Oh, this is really hard because I've been going back and forth through like a bunch of visions that I have for myself, but definitely somewhere in Europe. Spain, probably, yeah. Yeah, definitely somewhere in Europe, working either medicine or fashion or something in between. So yeah.
very well dressed patients.
I can make it work. It's okay.
Go to a hospital.
Were you raising your hand or no?
Oh, no.
Oh.
How many pairs of pants have you ripped up?
Oh my God. Just this year? Like 2. Yeah, just 2 this year. That's been good. It's been a good year. Prosperous year. Huh? Anyone?
Okay. Oh, you got it.
Joel?
Why do you love anatomy so much?
Ooh. I can't, like, my love kind of started off as like selfish reasons almost, because like I wanted to know what was like going on, you know, like I just wanted to know why things worked the way they did, and it's something that's always just kind of interested me, and it's something that kind of relates to everyone. Like everyone has the same anatomy, kind of. But it's just something that I think it's very beautiful and natural, and I think it's an amazing thing to learn and a good thing to know. Riley?
I know the vines are really important. So, which one would you say is one of your favorites?
Ooh, perfect question. I actually know the answer to this one because I was thinking about it the other day. Rip Vine. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it's like of this male cheerleader, and he's like in Krispy Kreme, and he's like back at it again at Krispy Kreme, and he like does a flip and he hits the sign. Like, but it's been a classic for me, and it's brought me a lot of joy. So that has to be my favorite. David?
How many languages are you planning on learning?
Good question. So far, well, it's not like I'm scared about like learning them. It's just like maintaining them, because it already like racks my brain like trying to maintain 3, but maybe like 4 or 5. I'm interested in French and Portuguese. So.
That's great. Let's give Jamie one more hand. So we're going to take a few minutes to pray a blessing over Jamie. So why don't you come around the pulpit and stand there. Try to get around her first. Good job, Jamie.
Thank you.
Oh, I know.